Two fat guys talking flowers, but we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. Good Lord, sweet baby Jesus. Have we been crazy lately? I got Joelle, I got Ryan on Zoom, and I'm here in the office, and we're ready to kick some ass on this episode, but we're going to take things a little differently today. We've been traveling. Ryan was in Vegas. Mike was in Holland. Then he went to New York and he just got back. I just got back from Intrigue. We had probably the craziest 1 week of work we have ever had in our lives. I mean, good Lord, we have been busy. So we're going to lead you in to a few episodes that we want you guys to check out. These are some of our favorite episodes, some of the episodes that made us us. So let's jump right into it. Fatties, we're going all the way back. First episode back in November of 2021. This is our pilot episode. And let me tell you, this is worth listening to the whole thing, but we're going to give you a little clip. Jump in.
We start off today. My name is Mike Black from Jet Fresh Flowers. And we have Fern, the Fern Show, Fernando Ortega from Jet Fresh Flowers.
Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen.
And we are here in Miami, Florida. And we're going to talk about everything
And
flowers on the distribution side. And we just had our name changed.
Immediate change right away.
Yeah.
Didn't even give us an episode.
Ryan changed our name to Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers. So, anyway.
He didn't like it. It's because we came up with the name when he wasn't here.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
No. That's incorrect. You guys chose the name Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers before I even knew a podcast was coming.
No, we chose the name Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers Drinking Coffee.
Correct.
And you
Yes.
turned off the
Yes.
coffee because you said that's already been done by
Yeah, there's
Jerry
a comedian.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, there's a comedian out there with a TV show with that name.
Yeah. But they were in cars.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, they were definitely not.
We're in the cone of silence.
On the Cone of Silence.
I gotta be real with neither one of you have coffee, so it could be two fat guys drinking
It's
water.
5 p.m.
I mean, if we're gonna call it that, you gotta be drinking coffee.
I drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. It stays in my system.
I've had enough coffee for the day. I'll just stick with water, but fuck it. Let's just keep moving here.
You can still talk
What
flowers.
a day. What a day we had here
Great
today.
day.
We had a great visit today.
Yes, Farm Direct.
We had Farm Direct of Holland here visiting us. They are phenomenal customers of Jet Fresh Growers. They have a shipment every week from Jet Fresh Growers. They're very loyal. But getting to know Willem today, he's special.
Yeah, he is.
He's special. He's got it. He's got it. He has just passed his first 10 years in business. And, I think when you pass 10 years, man, you're home free.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the mark.
Yeah, because you already fucked up everything you could fuck up in the first 10.
Make all the mistakes. You learned all the lessons.
Yeah. So once you pass the 10, I really think you're home free. And he's got a great staff. He's very aligned with how we do shit.
Yeah, he is.
They're very aligned with that. And I thought that it's not typical to have a visit that lasts, through the morning, through lunch, and then into the afternoon and just talking.
We almost went to dinner.
Yeah, if he wasn't going with his friends, we for sure would have had him for dinner.
Yeah.
And then we also had Deanna arrive from the farm this morning. You picked her up at the airport. What time?
6:45.
6:45. So she was here in the office. She flew all night.
All night. She was exhausted. She was like the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
Yeah. But she was, I heard her on the phone today. She was selling anyway.
Yeah. No, relentless.
But yeah, we're going to see Willem and his team in 2 weeks. Me, Juanita, Melissa, and Deanna are going over.
What a trip.
Going across
I'm
the
jealous.
pond. Yeah. Well, we have some customers there. And then Juanita and Melissa are going to continue on.
And stay there for a few more weeks.
They're going to visit customers in France, Italy, and the homeland of Hungary,
Nice.
which is cool. I would like to go on that trip, but no time. no time. But yeah, that they are gonna be spending like 3 weeks on the road.
I was saying, how is Melissa going to carry all those bags?
Yeah.
When she went with, when she came to Dallas for the show and we stayed for 1 week, I swear she had like 5 bags.
Yeah, well, you have to accessorize. Right?
All right, guys. So was that terrible?
I mean, that was before we even had mics, I think. I don't remember what we were using,
we didn't know what we were doing, what our format was. We were literally just sitting in a room talking shit the way we would sit in the office and talk shit. And I mean, God, we had our name changed already. Ryan, we wanted the name was so the name's long as it is, but Ryan, me and Mike wanted it even longer. And Ryan would just look at us like, what is wrong with you guys? We had an opportunity. There was a guest. There was a guest in the office that day. We had Willem here, and we didn't even take the opportunity to bring him into. We had no idea what we were doing. And look at us. Look at us. Years later, I love this. Love this. All right. So our next episode, Joel, cue this up. Our next episode is in my top 3 episodes. It is the Brothers episode. Check out this clip. Me and Mike are joined by, we'll call them the Black Boys. All the sons, all the 5 of Mike's sons. They're like one awesome boy band.
But better looking.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
Yay, welcome. How you guys doing?
Good, we're good.
Good.
Don't be shy. Talk into the mic. Don't be scared.
Casey and I are sharing a mic, so.
You have to really get up on that mic. Don't be shy.
We might just sit on each other's lap so we can really close.
Do you want to switch?
He's like the worst person to share a mic
with too, because he's the biggest germaphobe out of all of us for sure. So no, I just don't like sharing drinks with your nasty ass.
Yeah, there is a point you wouldn't share anybody's food. If they touched your food on your plate,
That's fair.
you wouldn't eat it.
Actually, if any food touched each other, so if the meat touched the rice, that was a no-go. So your mother had to buy plates with dividers on them.
Yeah, I don't think I was around
It's
at
true.
that point.
JJ uses those, but Junior used them up until 24, 25.
Nah, I probably used them up until like 10, and that's when I started gaining weight because I didn't care what you guys did to my food at that point.
All you ate was French fries and chicken nuggets.
Exactly, and they
Chicken nuggets.
could just be on top of each other. I didn't care.
Oh man! So today's episode, like we said, is special. This is a concept episode that we talked about early in the podcast. I don't know if we made it to the airwaves, but we talked about it. We wanted to hear from the Black Boys what your experience working with your dad. It's one of the toughest things to do is to work for your father, to work in a family business. You guys worked for a flower genius here. But he's also a pain in the ass sometimes. So we want to hear your experience, guys. Tell us.
Well, you started first. So.
I started first.
I think you should go oldest to youngest.
Yeah, we should introduce each other. Let's start there. Let's get everybody understand each other's voices. So,
Yeah.
So say hi, guys.
All right. Well, I'm Junior. I'm the oldest.
how old are you?
36.
36.
Yeah.
Jared, second oldest, 34.
I'm Brian, number 3. I'll be 33 in the next 2 months.
Casey, number 4. About to be 30.
Connor, the youngest, the favorite, about to be 24 next week.
By far the favorite.
Connor, where are you calling in from right now?
I'm in Fort Myers, Florida.
You at the golf course or at the beach?
I'm in my apartment.
All right. So there we go. We're going to start with the oldest. Go ahead, Mike Jr. How was your experience working for your father in a family-oriented flower business?
It was tough. He's a tough guy to work for. He's not like totally, he's not like a Nazi or anything like that, but he has a very high level of expectation for us. You know, it was always, everyone had to be here, and then the sons had to be above that. So it was tough, but I mean, we learned a lot. Definitely, not being here full time anymore. Definitely a lot of stuff I took with me. learning from that kind of an attitude. So I'm not really upset about it.
So how long did you work for Jeff Fresh? Like officially work?
So I think I officially started when you were just starting up, right? I remember It was you at a desk and a phone and Uncle Tony pulling boxes, and he threw the QuickBooks box at me and said, learn this because someone needs to do it. And it's not going to be me. So I was here, was it 2008?
Yep.
Yeah.
2008 till 2013. So a little over 5 years. I think I was here for.
What did you do while you were here?
Started helping them, just putting in orders in the QuickBooks and helping them with the accounting end of stuff, and going in the warehouse, pulling boxes. If I had to run boxes somewhere, whatever we needed. There was only a few of us here, but that customer service was big. So whatever.
You wore many hats. You did it all.
Yeah.
Like the operations manager before that was a thing.
Before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Had a title and for that.
I think I got that title right before the end of my tenure here. I think I officially had that title, but.
Were there a lot of customers in the first few years when you were working here?
I mean, it was enough to keep the three of us busy. It grew, and as it grew, more people kind of came into the mix.
But you don't need a lot of customers in the early days because it's all about service. It was all about white glove concierge service. So that's what kept.
There's your perfect tie-in for Jared to know.
All right, Jared.
Go ahead. Okay.
Number 2.
Well, I guess, okay, so I was selling cars, and you had just started Jet Fresh like a year prior. And I'll never forget this because I was selling cars. I was doing really well. I was making good money. Then the gas guzzler deal happened, and I was selling my cars. I was making my units.
No, it was the bank stopped lending money to people in 2008.
Well, it was 2008, end of 2008.
You could sell a car, but you couldn't get a car loan.
Couldn't get a loan.
Right,
Yeah.
but not only that, but the dealer was forced to just give, and I was selling GMCs. So nobody was lining up to buy trucks and Yukons and
Yeah, because gas was hitting
it was
all-time
gas guzzler
high
days
as well.
Yeah, it was the last time we saw $5 a gallon.
Correct.
So I had people coming in and trading in their, like they had a brand new truck and they were trying to get out of it, anything to get out of their truck. So I was selling my cars, I was making my units, and at the end of the month, the dealer handed me my commission, and I owed them money. I sold 13 to 15 units, which was expected, and they're like, "Oh, you owe us about $1,300." Like, what? So my dad's like, "That's un-American. You can't do that. Come work for me." And the next month, I came to Jeff Fresh, and he told me, "I want you to sell flowers." So I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I came in, and he's like, "Oh, you got to go work the warehouse first." And then but I pulled boxes for the next several months, and then every day after that, in the afternoon after cutoff, I would come in the office. He'd hand me a list, and he says, "Call every single one of these people and try to sell them flowers. No script, no nothing. Just call them and sell them flowers."
Cold calls.
Cold calls.
Love it.
Every single person on that list was like the biggest scumbag after the next. Just like, "Stop fucking calling me. No, I don't want you." And it was just a terrible, terrible list. And then when I was done, I said, "Okay, I'm done with the list." And he goes, "Okay, great. Call him again and sell him flowers." And so I had to like go through that list a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 times. And then finally he let me call some real customers and start to learn the business, so to speak. But yeah,
Learn a little rejection first.
yeah, I
Not
had to
bad.
get cursed out by every single one of those people who would answer the phone and
It didn't hurt, right?
oh, at first it's like demoralizing. It's the worst thing ever. But it was, I mean, I was used to it a little bit from selling cars, so it wasn't the worst thing for me. But that's how I got my start, and that's what I did for the next several years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that leads us to Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
So how'd you get your start?
For me, I was always working here, kind of in the warehouse and stuff, off and on throughout school. And then once I graduated, my dad told me, he's like, "I'm looking for somebody to hire somebody that does what you do. And so, do you want to work here?" And I took the job as I was doing part-time that, and I was working on the side doing a couple other creative type jobs. And then slowly but surely, I ended up full-time here. And I've been here ever since. That was when I graduated in 2011. So around 2012 is when I started
full time
as in the marketing department. But I've been here in the warehouse with Uncle Tony back before that. Way back then when we were starting.
I've seen Ryan. Ryan has like freakishly large hands, and he makes these giant bouquets in one hand, and it's like the weirdest thing because his hand looks like it stretches out bigger every time as he adds more flowers in.
Boca flower stand.
Yeah, Boca flower stand. When I was in college, I had a few. I worked at Dulcimer doing event setups up in Boca, and then the Boca flower stand over certain weekends and holidays. We would just crank out mixed bouquets. We would just have they would park a truck on the side of the road. They'd set out some buckets of flowers, and then it was, let me get $50 worth a $50 bouquet or something like that, and you would just make, depending on the flowers that were there.
Shout out Penny and Scott.
Penny and Scott, man, throwbacks. But yeah, so
you have
what you said with the big hand.
fingers.
I mean, I got a few
you got some weird
dislocation from Jared playing football. This is my fucked up finger from when.
You're welcome.
Playing tackle football.
Why are you so quiet, Mike? Why are you so quiet?
He hasn't said a word.
He hasn't said a word. Hello, sir.
I mean, it's the first time we've all been in a room for a minute too. Like, it's hard to get us all together now.
I think he's trying to get past the alien fingers thing.
Super Bowl, I think.
It's funny. So you had worked in the warehouse. You had helped out. So you had a concept and the idea of the business before you started marketing for it.
I've worked in various aspects and then from there led into the marketing department.
College jobs. His college jobs.
His college jobs were
working
Jeff
for
Fresh.
Every client, every event client, and then in between in the warehouse and seasons.
Nice.
Yeah. It's part of my education.
Yeah.
Nice. So I see a theme growing here. Everyone starts at the bottom and works their way up. I love that.
He had a rule that when he made it a point to make sure so we understood. Because he would always say when he was younger, he had to carry boxes of gladiolas up and down the stairs at his dad's place. And that was like kind of where he started. So he always said we kind of had to learn how the warehouse works before we can learn how anything else works.
Did you guys like look at those stories like, like how some dads say, when I was your age, I had to walk 3 miles through the snow, on a blizzard.
Up two hills,
no shoes. With a parachute tied to my back. Did you guys look at it like that?
Well, every time he told the story, the number of stairs got higher and higher.
Why are you so quiet, Mike?
I'm taking it in. I will respond when the time is right.
Y'all in trouble?
No, nobody's in trouble. I've been really wanting to listen to this for a long time, even if it wasn't a podcast.
That you don't get into these conversations on the regular, right?
It gets to a different place for me. It gets to a different place for me because working for my dad and the intensity, the level that I tried to work for my dad, to please him, to make sure he was proud of me and he had trust in me. And I spent years on the bottom. Not days, weeks, months, years. I drove the truck so well that I would think I drove the truck for 5 years, maybe, making deliveries for 5 years.
Except that one night
Something
that
like
it got all that colored paint on it, right?
No, well, that was my take-home car. I didn't have a car. I had the company van. I used to take my wife out on dates in the company van. That's.
You must have had some
Junior
game.
used to drive around the Lucky Mobile.
Yeah.
Pink flower shop van.
Junior was rolling them in back then.
Yeah, so listening to my sons, what they got to say is, I think it hits me in a special spot. So, my sons mean everything to me. Whether they work for me or not, means everything to me. And knowing that I have these boys, if something happens to me, I know that they're going to take care of all these other people here like I was. When they tell you, I had to start in the warehouse or I had to start, from the bottom. Let me tell you, I don't know about you people, but respect is earned. It's not given.
Agreed.
So when the boss's son comes in and starts giving orders and they don't know shit, they don't do shit, they never lifted a box, they never drove a truck, they never, nobody's going to respect that. They might listen to him, but they don't respect that. And I believe that the way that my boys started, they earned their respect.
Yeah, I'd agree.
They earned it. Nobody gave it to them because their name is black. They earned all of it. And not only earned the respect from their co-workers, but also from customers, friendly competitors, whoever, because they know, and they can intimately talk about this business from the bottom up. And not every boss's son can,
Yeah.
right?
Not every boss's son starts at the bottom. So I like the training. I like the training. It works.
When Tommy Boy came back from college after 20 years being in college, right? He went to work for his dad's brake pad company, right? He didn't start in a warehouse. That's why no one respected Tommy Boy. True story.
It's a fat man in a little coat.
That's
Don't
right.
be Tommy Boy.
They make car parts for the American working man.
That's right. Celine can recite the whole guarantee on the box, by the way. She knows the whole thing. It's funny. No, but all seriousness, I think that there's no question whether they're working here at Jeff Fresh or, Jared owns his own company. Mike Jr. is a policeman. They must have. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty much guarantee you that they've applied shit that they learned working here to what they do.
Guaranteed.
For sure.
For sure.
So, Casey, it's your turn, I guess. Sorry.
Casey, you're up. Batters
Okay, I'm
up.
Casey. Slide over, man. I'm getting the mic. I told you, sit on my lap. Come on. All right. So I'm Casey, number 4. I'm full time here with Ryan, but it's pretty cool because I was younger, so I got to see it like when these guys were working here a little bit. Like I'm not you. You're too old. I don't really remember when Junior was here, but Jared, when he was a sales rep, I think I was a little bit part time in the cooler, back and forth. I was also doing some other things, kind of going to school. But now, years later, how much I've seen the whole transformation with everybody, like how much is built, and it's a cool thing to see. It's a cool thing to see for sure. But I'm full time with Ryan.
But what do you do here? How did you start? How did you get your
And
start?
real quick, do I not remember? Was he not sales for a while and then left for a little while and then came back for? Was there a moment where he did that?
Me?
Casey
No.
worked at warehouse for a while, and then he came back.
So
I feel like I remember him at a desk in the old office, the small office. At one point, he had a desk.
Well,
there.
he was
then-
a manager. He did manage the warehouse and then gave that up to be sales.
So I did a little bit of everything. Like when I first came in, I was in and out of the warehouse. I was working part-time in the warehouse. I was going to school a little bit. And then when I really started working full-time, I was working in the warehouse, just pulling boxes, making deliveries. At one point, when you were in the other little office, I was working over there for a while, helping them, trying to see where I fit a little bit. But really, I enjoyed most part driving. Drivers, that was the best part. Delivering, driving, picking up.
I love that too.
Yeah,
when
I
I,
don't know.
drove
I
for my
hated
dad,
driving.
I don't
hated
know.
it.
I like
was
driving.
The worst thing you
I
could do
loved
is send
it.
me on a pickup
Nah,
at 3:45 in
Really?
the afternoon. I would hate it.
No,
So-
driving
that
is
was
the
worst.
best. The driving is the cushion
Miami
job
traffic,
here, man.
I'm with Ryan.
tickets, No.
No, I really enjoyed being
And
the
then
driver.
trying to figure out where to park in the warehouses and how to get in and all that.
Yeah, but I drove in New York City, and until you get to the Long Island Expressway or the Midtown Tunnel or some fucked up traffic place that you really don't want to go to, besides that, it's a fun place to drive. It's a fun place to drive, and I
don't like driving in New York City at all.
No, me and Joey from Long Island Wholesale, we both were the same.
Shout out Uncle Joey.
Yeah, we used to pimp out our vans, Joey would always have the cool portholes in the side and the nice mag wheels and
Little shag carpet in the bag.
I used to drive everywhere. I used
Dice
to
in the
deliver
windshield.
Yeah.
But yeah, driving was my thing, and then I started managing the warehouse, taking on that responsibility. That really gets you learning everything. I mean, it was cool. That thing again. It was cool because that was when the cash and carry was just up and coming. So would constantly, fix the display out there. Just help me. I have so much flower knowledge now. From that, it's crazy. Like I'm impressed with how many flowers I know, and it's a humble brag there, but no, it's
Little pat on the back.
every little detail.
Sorry, I was walking Tyson yesterday, and I'm walking along the sidewalk, and some lady stopped me. She must have been a tourist, and she goes, "Excuse me, do you live here?" I was like, "Yeah, I live right there." She goes, "These are beautiful. What is this?" And I was like, "Lady, I don't know what these plants are called." And I just walked away. But I thought it was hilarious that she knew what I knew the flowers, but I.
You live here. You must know.
That's great. No, Michelle's quizzing me all the time when we walk into the supermarket. Oh, what's that? So, fist bump after I get it right. You know. But yeah, so I managed the warehouse for a while. Then I started to do some trade shows, and like Fern was whispering in my ear, like, you know, when you coming over to the other side, when you coming into the office.
It's better on the dark side. We have cookies.
Yeah, yeah, clearly. No, it was, and that was it. Basically, I started transitioning into sales, and I did sales for 2 years, two and a half years. I'm still doing sales, and now I'm slowly transitioning into assistant sales captain is my title right now. You know, trying to relieve some of your stress because there's a lot going on here. People think flowers is, you know, we're picking flowers literally.
People
and
think
putting
we
them in a
run
box,
through
you know,
we run through greenhouses frolicking all day, and it smells nice.
No, it's a crazy.
Flowers, that's fun.
That's fun. Sure, lady.
No, it's complete opposite. But yeah, now so still learning.
That was a modest flex, Casey. That really was. Casey's my right hand, guys. We couldn't do it. The company could not do it without Casey. He's a big part of our sales team and our management team, and you know, Casey's kicking ass over here. All right, Ryan, what'd you think of that episode? Do you remember that episode as vividly as I do?
I do remember the episode. It was, it was an interesting episode. I do remember saying that, like, it felt weird. It was awkward. Like, I felt like my brothers were kind of holding back. My dad obviously barely spoke.
Dad didn't talk for the first 45 minutes. He was quiet in silence.
Yeah,
he had this look like a deer in headlights, like he was waiting for the bomb or the shoe to drop.
Yeah. I want to redo that episode.
We should redo that episode.
I want to redo that one.
But you guys, you know, it was a raw, real episode, right? We still had no idea what we were doing, really.
Right. We didn't even have mics and stuff. Like we didn't have enough supplies for everybody.
Casey also had the weirdest look on it. So the brothers episode, guys, was number 17. The first one, of course, is episode 1. But the next episode, episode 20, that's the Flower Circus. And man, does this guy have a story to tell. Joel, take him to the clip at the right moment when he tells the story. Listen up, guys. Take a look and let me know what you think.
I was gonna say, yeah, but the prices went up, but then the demand went down once Russia started their invasion into Ukraine. Well, that whole region was kind of shut down on flower sales, so the prices kind of stayed moderate, even though it cost a lot more to produce.
Yeah. You just brought up a good transition. We got to get into the story, John. I know you want. Yeah. I know you got to tell. I don't know if you want to tell it or how you feel about the situation, but for those who don't know, you were in Ukraine. You were living there, right?
Yep.
Do you want to?
6 years.
6 years. Wow. So, I mean, if you mind, you want to tell us what's going on? You want to tell us a little bit about what happened? What was your situation? You want to get into it?
Yeah, the situation was like I was living in Ukraine already for 6 years. My ex-wife is Ukrainian. I stayed there after the divorce because I really loved it over there.
Mm-hmm.
Just bought a new apartment just outside of Kiev. Was always living in the center of Kiev. I thought it was a little bit too busy, and I found a really great place just outside of Kiev, 15 minutes drive. Forests all around. Small place that nobody knew, Bucha. But now everybody knows the place. I was there, and there was a threat of Russia, but it's always there. I mean, the first war started already 8 years ago when they took Crimea and a part of the east, the Donbas region. And we were thinking, okay, this will pass as well. I mean, we were laughing about it, actually. And then one morning, I woke up, 24th. I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning and just checking the news, and it said that Putin just closed the airspace above Ukraine. And I thought, this is crazy. But I already got a feeling like this is not good. So I already had a bag in my house with all the papers and everything. And then within 5 minutes, I get a text message from a friend of mine from the other side of Kiev, close to the airport. And he said, they start bombing us. And I thought, what the heck? And so I ran outside, already heard it. Went back to my ex-wife in Kiev. Just drove there as fast as I could. Luckily, I have the keys of the house. Opened the door. I was trying to call her, but she didn't pick up the phone. Run into the house, put on the lights. I said, we have to go because the war started. And she was looking at me with big eyes like, what do you say? I said, the war started, so we need to leave now. Unfortunately, her mother just the day before ended up in the hospital because of COVID. She said, I can't leave my mother here. And my son also told her, you have to leave, or you have to stay for grandmother. So within 2 minutes, we packed his bag, run outside, drove away, or tried to drive away from Kiev. Windows open to hear where the shelling was. Tried to drive back to my house just to get my stuff. There were already tanks coming out of the forest, Ukrainian ones to go into Kiev, to protect Kiev. I had to stop for them, but I didn't stop for them. I just went straight through them to get to my house, to get my stuff. It was already traffic there. I mean, every gas station, people were waiting. I think there were already 100 cars, and we're talking about 5:30 in the morning. People running with suitcases on the street. Everybody was ignoring traffic lights. Just got into my apartment quickly, just grabbed everything I thought I needed in one suitcase, closed the door, run downstairs, and drove off. Took an alternative route because there was traffic everywhere already. A 3-minute drive took me 1 hour to get out of that city. I mean, in a city of 50,000 people, so it's a small town. Finally got out, started texting the embassy, like, okay, I'm going to drive here. I'm going to drive off on this road because I thought, who knows, maybe they know more than me. Just drove off, windows open, just here where the shelling is, as fast as I could. But after 1 hour, I thought, okay, I need to check how many gas do I have. Will I make it until the border? I took the northern route, which was a risky one, but I already knew that the other route was, I mean, there were a lot of accidents there already. People couldn't get out of the city. One of the girls working for me left 15 minutes after me from Kiev. She couldn't get out of the city already. We kept on driving, saw tanks, saw artillery, everything going towards Kiev. And my son was captain of my phone, just texting everybody like, we're okay, we're driving now, and don't worry if there's no contact because we're driving through forest and everything. Called my parents and told them, don't worry, we're on our way. And that's how we drove off, and filled with adrenaline. Then after, I think, 2.5 hours driving, I knew there was a small bridge coming up. And I saw all tanks coming our way. And I thought, oh, this bridge is coming up pretty soon now. And I hope I'm not on the bridge while there are tanks driving on that bridge, because you're a sitting duck over there. Luckily, it stopped just before we went onto the bridge, past the bridge. Then there was a small town. There was some traffic as well. There was all tanks coming on, and just guys 18 years, 20 years old. Really bright blue eyes. Didn't know, I mean, they didn't have to shave yet, and they were driving a tank. And just, I thought, wow, they're going to protect their country. Driving further. And then at a certain moment, there was no car in front of me, no car behind me. And I thought, okay, what do people know what I don't know?
Right.
And just driving. And then, I mean, all your senses are not 100%, they're on 1,000%. You hear everything. I mean, the change of tarmac is already like, what's happening? What's happening? Is there a plane? Or luckily got to the border, but still every gas station had at least 100 cars waiting. And I was driving, and then at a certain moment I thought, okay, if I slow down a bit, I will make it to the border. And only when we were at the border, it was like, okay, what do I have? And I looked, I've got my son. That's the most important thing. I got 2 bags, and I grabbed some food but there were also some candles in that bag and some other stuff you really don't need. But it was just in a split second you throw things in a bag and that's it. Finally could call my parents and said, okay, we're at the border, we're okay. Calling my ex-wife.
Which border, John? Which border was that?
To Poland.
To Poland.
Yeah. And seeing there already a lot of women with small children there without a husband. Just 1 hour after we crossed the border, they closed the border for all the Ukrainian men, because they had to defend their country. They couldn't leave. But you could already see it that the women, small children, and waiting there. And luckily we had our own car, because a couple of hours later there was so many people going to the border. At a certain point it took people 3 days to cross the border. Some people left their cars behind 40 kilometers before the border because it was in traffic, and they just started walking. It was terrible.
What with on the Polish border, John? I'm sorry to talk, but I'm trying to visualize on the Polish border. Were there a line to cross? Did you have to go through any kind of interview process to get across, or they just let people in? How did that?
We were so lucky that there was, at that moment, I didn't have any doubt that so we left as one of the first ones. And that's why at the Polish border or the Ukrainian border, they didn't ask anything. Luckily, had all the paperwork ready. So that really helped. And the Polish border as well. It stopped for an hour. I think they just checked, okay, what do we need to do? So there was no movement at all at the border. And then they started to let people through again. Normally you need a COVID test. They didn't ask for a COVID test. So luckily we just could move on. But that was the beginning. And then driving through Poland, I could also see the panic over there. Because the Polish, they have a history with Russia as well. And they really hate them. But also there they were filling up their cars. It was crazy to see all those things, and a lot of police driving to the border just to help out because they knew a lot of people were on their way to the border. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I said, I was so lucky to be one of the first ones to get out. And especially when you talk to your neighbors later in Bucha and some friends as well. There's the airport close to Bucha. That's the Antonov airport. That's the one they wanted to have within 24 hours. So half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour later. When I left Bucha, they came with, I think it's around 40 to 50 helicopters to conquer the airport, which is not even a mile from my house.
Wow.
And they shot everything. When we just crossed the border, we already got the pictures that the supermarket we normally go to 200 meters from our house was burned down. Cars were shot. Everything was burning there, and it was crazy.
Wow.
And then 2 weeks in, lost contact with my neighbors. No internet. They didn't have any power, water, anything. It took another 10 days before they could leave the city. But you could already see it was totally shut down, and the Russian special forces were there. At least 11,000, I think, on 50,000 people.
Wow.
At a certain moment, they were looking for Nazis because they thought we were all Nazis in Ukraine. And me as a European there wasn't the best thing to be there. So luckily I got away.
Is that a thing, Nazis in Ukraine?
No. There's one battalion that's fighting, that sympathizes, but that's a few people.
But that's what they're telling the Russian people? Is that?
But,
yeah, I saw that in the news.
But they
something
say,
about them there.
Yeah, everybody in Europe, they are Nazis, and even the people from Israel are Nazis. So I mean, they go crazy. But at a certain moment, they just shot everybody that was on the street, and all men between 18 and 60 were just killed at a certain point. Just point blank shot them, and no further questions, and that was it. And unfortunately, I mean, Bucha is now famous because it's close to Kiev, and once it got liberated, they could show it to journalists. But there are many other places in Ukraine that go through the same, and even worse now, because it took a month and a half just to liberate Bucha. But there are places, I mean, we're in 100 days now into the war, and some people are already occupied for 100 days. Mariupol there's nothing left there. So that's, you don't want to think about what happened there. I mean, the official figures are way off. I think Mariupol, at least 25,000 innocent people died over there.
Jesus.
At least.
I'm so sorry, man. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my son. He's healthy. My ex-wife, she's healthy. People working for me also fled to the west. They are okay. Actually, one of the girls gave birth to a little boy last week.
That's nice.
Back in Kiev again. So looking forward to raise a boy, and hopefully in freedom that the Ukrainian people fought for or are fighting for again. I mean, Ukraine is, I mean, after the Soviet Union collapsed 30 years ago, they were really fighting and building up the country, and they know what they have been through during the Soviet regime. So they don't want to go back.
No.
Actually, one of the second biggest city in Ukraine, Kharkiv, 50% of the population is Russian.
Right.
But they don't want to go back. They say, we want to be Ukraine. And the funny thing is, in the West, they always say, yeah, Kharkiv, that's half Russian. And now they say, Kharkiv, that's Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's what the people do. I mean, they're already painting the parking spots at my apartment already, and it was occupied. The people were living there. They robbed us from everything. I'm lucky that the building is still standing, but everything that was worth something is gone. And not only that, I mean, they were stealing toilet seats. I mean, how crazy you get it. People missing toilet seats, people missing, of course, jewelry. But they took everything. Even old Nokia's 20 years old.
Wow.
But it really was like, we need to destroy it. Because what Ukraine has, it needs to be below Ukraine or Russia. So our standard must be higher. There's a big, beautiful park like Keukenhof in Holland with all the flower bulbs. There was a Ukrainian man who built that as well because he loved it so much. He built it. I think it was 40 miles outside of Kiev, in the middle of nowhere. 3 buildings. They destroyed everything. With tanks, they drove through the fields so the tulips wouldn't come up. I mean, just to destroy it.
No, just because, yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy. But their history is very cruel, and history is repeating. I mean, the craziest things happened throughout the history already, and that's Europe is reacting pretty weak because they think, there's some humanity there, but there isn't. There's never been, and as we can see now, it's happening again. And even there was the Minister of Foreign Affairs in France was saying, let's just give a part of Ukraine so to get it over with. And they don't want to do it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. I'm sorry you had to deal with that with your family. You're still dealing with it, I'm sure.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I ended up on Friday night at my parents' place. Luckily, I could stay at my parents.
Your parents were in Poland?
No, in Holland.
Holland.
So
you drove from Ukraine to Holland?
Yeah.
How long of a drive is that?
It's 2 days. So it's I don't know in miles, but it's 2,000 kilometers.
2,000 kilometers.
Yeah. But I parked my car and it was like I was driving for 10 miles because it was all adrenaline.
Right.
And once I was there, I said, my son, just get out. and he ran to my parents, and I was sitting in the car, and I was crying my eyes out. All the adrenaline came out, and I thought, okay, I did my job. My son is in safety, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And that was it. And couldn't sleep, of course. I mean, I think it's for 3 weeks now that I can sleep, or that I can normally sleep, or
Really?
at least longer than 4 hours. But I mean, couldn't sleep, so I woke or just got downstairs again. And my parents don't have a big kitchen table, but I just opened up the 2 bags that we had, 2 suitcases, put everything on the kitchen table, and I thought, okay, this is it.
This is what you got.
That's what we have. And from now on, we need to build it up again.
Huh.
And that's the way it is now. And actually, I can't wait to get back. Maybe it sounds crazy, but I think I owe the Ukrainian people something. I mean, they gave me a lot of joy living there.
All right, guys. So this is a transition. So this is where we're going to tell you the depth of our podcast and where we've gotten. So you go from an episode with the Flower Circus, you know, where he went deep and it's a personal story. And now our next episode, Anna and Mark Dubner, episode number 26. Holy shit, it's still my favorite episode. It's funny as hell. I tell you, I'll say this 100 times. I go back and listen to this episode whenever I'm having a really bad day. I've probably heard this episode 20 times because I almost pee my pants laughing every single time. So, to my favorite couple, Anna and Mark Dubner, check out this clip. So, guys, Mark Dubner.
Yes, sir.
Famous like flower royalty, sir.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard a lot of stories about you.
Stories.
From ex-employees. I don't know if those are the ones I want to tell. But
usually the ex-employee stories start with the morning that they nearly died on the way to work because they didn't want to be 2 minutes late. They were scared to death of this. Usually the stories, they're fear related.
Most of them started that way. I was fucking late for work and Mark and fuck and
I didn't know what to do. And
1 minute late, you can't go into the meeting.
Yeah, it's that or the time I denied a credit or something like that.
Which I will say now, he's always late for work and he approves every credit that comes in. He has no discrimination on credits. None whatsoever.
Full change.
It's funny what a second life does for you, huh?
Well, it's been my biggest adjustment going from, Connect the Flores Esmeralda guy to Stellar nobody listens to me. Nobody has to listen to me. Nobody cares.
That's it. It's over. The reign of terror is over, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you like that more, or do you prefer it when
No, he gets frustrated.
Okay.
I get
gets frustrated.
Because I still think everyone has to listen to me.
Yes, and I go around the office going, you guys do not have to listen to him. Like, I don't understand why you entertain
She's
him.
Positive reinforcement.
Why do you have
there.
to answer
Love
to him?
that.
Like, I don't understand why you entertain him. You don't have to answer to him. Like, really, you don't.
Yeah, but they do.
But they do.
It's a respect thing, I'm sure.
Yeah, but what's funny though, I had but I hadn't earned it there, and that's still being done. That's the interesting thing. It's like with any new employee, right? We'd have a new rep, Esmeralda Mark, and we'd have somebody come in and they would say, "Oh, but my customer said," and I'd know what was going on, so I'd say, "No, just say no. They'll come back." No, but you don't understand. No. I understand. They'll come back. And then it would, or I'd have a price a certain way, and you just know what's going to happen. So you build that up. However, the difference was they didn't have a choice but to listen and then see that I was right. Here, it took some time. And it's still taking some time.
But these are our partners. They're not.
It's still gonna take a whole lot of time. But
everyone there basically we're all partners, right? Everyone has a piece of the business. That's how it works. But I still think the egos. I still think I know everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's like LeBron when he goes to a new team, he doesn't have to start as a rookie.
No, he starts in. He's pretty much team captain.
But you need still, just like when you get a new customer, you need to build the credibility that you know what you're talking about, that you're saying something that'll be of value to them.
Sure. Not
just because I'm big fat bald guy who's loud.
Well, it's also the company that you were representing. You had their reputation behind you as well.
Correct.
So before we became Stellar Farms, Mark. We were Esmeralda, Mark. But where did Esmeralda, Mark, come from? And where did you guys meet? We want to hear the story.
Seriously.
We want it. Yeah. No. We want. That's why you're here, Yellow Heels. We gotta go. We gotta turn that dial all the way back.
That story's probably more interesting than the flower story.
For sure. But
that story is gonna be 2 different versions.
Of course.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Just so you know.
So let's start off. Where did Mark the Terror Dubner come from?
Well, we had a.
Is that his real nickname?
No, just totally made it.
Do you have a nickname?
Yes. Mike, didn't you call him something?
What's his nickname, Mike?
Go for it.
That was it.
Go
that was
for
just
it.
for us. The flounder.
The flounder.
The flounder.
Where did that come from? Where did the flounder come from?
Animal House.
Animal House. Yeah, come on.
Makes sense.
Get out of here.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Sorry.
And when I started dating him, his apartment, his house looked just like the one in Animal House.
That's great.
All right. Well, I'll answer the question like in a serious way, ish. Esmeralda Mark was born out of the culture that was Condor Farms and Esmeralda, the very German mentality. There's a right way to do it, and there is no other way. And, you know.
So Esmeralda was your first job. How did you get into flowers?
No,
what were you
Condor.
doing? Condor.
No, he graduated from UM. And how long before after you did?
Just had to jump in there. I was talking too much.
Yes.
You were doing it right.
I'm so glad. that
This is going to be a great podcast.
Just get to the point.
She's telling the origin story. She's got she's seen it enough times.
By the end of this podcast, Mark will be signing up for Salsa Lovers.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
No, of course not. I got bitten by a radioactive spider, and that was how this all started, you know? So, no, my story was I went to the University of Miami. And
Go Canes.
Yeah. The U. And
One of the few fans of the U that actually went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were, I went there from
Are you
1986.
chirping me? I'm sorry. Hold on. Are you chirping me right
I'm
now?
chirping half of Florida.
Yeah, but I think that was targeted. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was totally targeted. All right, continue. I'm sorry. University of Miami.
Went to the University of Miami, and when I was a senior, I had a buddy whose sister worked at Condor Farm. She was in charge of like the bouquet and the farm piece, and he used to come down every weekend and drink. He had graduated UM the year before. And
Where, the sandbar?
No, the sandbar didn't even exist at that point. We used to go to CJ's, what was Calico Jack's, which is now the Home Depot right by the house. Used to be a bar, actually. 10-cent wings, 5-cent beers.
Or Stir Crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm not denying, however.
Sorry.
I've run into a few floral professionals at Stir Crazy. Just saying.
Yeah, me too.
Just saying. It wasn't anyone here.
Thank you. That stays, what happens at Stir Crazy stays at
Stir Crazy for sure.
So
Was that in the Grove? Stir Crazy?
Stir
No,
Crazy
it's
is
the
by
corner
the
of our
house.
house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a good topic. Anna likes
It's right on US 1.
Anna likes to tell the kids, it would have been your mother worked there. You're lucky. Where she would have come from. So anyway, he used to come down, and his mother asked him, he goes, so what's Mark going to do when graduation? This was in early April, right? You graduate in May. Maybe even the end of March.
Really?
And it matters.
Okay.
To me. It's my story, damn it. So she goes, what's he going to do? So he comes, he goes, hey, what are you going to do when you graduate? And of course, it's the first time anyone had asked me that. So I go, it's a good question. I don't know, go back to my parents' house. I have to get a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. So she was like, he's such a good friend. It'd be so sad if he left. And why don't we'll ask Trish if they have something for him. They're always hiring people. So anyway, I went and interviewed there and offered them absolutely nothing. I never worked a day in my life, and got hired. I think I made $6.48 an hour, no commission, calling wholesalers.
What'd you get? In sales right away?
Yeah, in sales, and I was hired, and I had a month of school still left. So I actually, I never had another interview, never looked for another job. That's where I was going to do. And I figured I'd do it for a little while, like everybody else in this business, right?
Didn't you come in the first day and just sit there?
No, actually,
And they moved,
Yeah.
and you were just sitting somewhere, and they were somewhere else.
That's a version of the story. Actually, what happened, I showed up the first day for work, and I'd never been up at that time in my life. You know, these people that are late by 7:02, I'd never been up probably before 9. And I showed up at the office, and I go to open the door. I got there at 6:30, you know, still the right way, and the door was locked. So that's weird. So I went and ate some Burger King and went back, and door's locked. I look in through the window. You know, they had the tinted glass, and there's nothing in the building anymore. It's completely empty. I go, oh my God! So I go to the Shell station there on 87th. It's still there, right across the street, right by the Walmart. I'm calling on the payphone. Right? There's no other way to call anyone. Calling the 800 number, and no one answers.
Did we establish what year this was already?
Yeah, it was May 21st, 1990.
Beepers.
Approximately. Okay. Exactly. May 21st, 1990 at 6:32 in the morning. So I ended up going back to the apartment I was staying at and went back to sleep because I'm exhausted. I'd never been up. And I woke up, I don't know, maybe 9:30, and I called and they answered, and they had moved. That day was the first day into that, what is now the Logistics Alliance building. That was the first day that building opened. They had moved up the move date. They, of course, never called me. No one knew who I was. You know, 6 weeks.
Forgot about the new guy.
Yeah. So I showed up probably, I don't know, 10:30, 11 o'clock my first day. And now I'm here.
No. You can't skip in between.
So I worked there. You know, it was Condor Farms, which, of course, was the name of another company, Condor, which is still around. Condor Carnation still around. Do we know?
I believe so.
So
I believe they are.
Well, they owned the rights to Condor as flowers, and then so the name of the company was changed to XL Group, with the idea that it would be good for multiple companies. And then XL Group was sold to USA Floral.
Mm-hmm. And that's when he fired me.
I was just going to say, and then there's an Anna story mixed in there.
Okay, so wait.
She was along. Where was she in this mix?
Yeah. Where was Anna in this mix?
Well,
and how long were you just a salesperson at $6 an hour?
Till when did I start at Stellar? Because if we're going to go by the hour, it's another story.
So I think his question was, when did Anna appear on your radar?
Well,
where did you guys connect? Was she working at XL Group?
Never.
How did you?
Well, we what happened? The building was empty. Always that building had other companies in it, and other companies. Southern Rainbow moved in there, and actually this was before USA Floral. Mr. Ulrich was just renting the space to Caicedo.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in there then. Now, I had seen Anna. You asked when was she on my radar. She was on my radar in a bar in Atlanta at the Woofsa show, although she didn't know it yet. That's a different story.
Should have stayed. It should have stayed that way, but no.
What year was that?
I don't remember. That's not my first day at work, so I can't give you the date.
So then we'll go with her. We can go with her first day. We go with her story.
Well, so she was working at Southern Rainbow at the time. Now, when did you start in the business?
Yeah,
Anna?
was that your first job in the business?
No.
So where did you start?
I started in 1988.
She's got to beat me.
This was before child labor laws, guys.
Yeah. And I started because I had graduated from high school, and my mom was like, you either go to college or you go to work. And I said, well, I want to take a year off, so I'll go to work. So I went to work, and my first job was at Southern Rainbow. Back in the time where you used to communicate with the farms through telex.
What is telex?
A little
like
code and
SOS,
Morse
like
code. Yeah,
Morse
Morse
code.
code.
It was before fax machines.
It was
the
before
telex.
fax machine, and when the board was up, and you had Vanna White standing in front, and the salespeople screaming 10 palms, carnations. That back in that day. That's when I started.
Palms. Those were Bochica.
Bochica. Yeah. Yep. So that's
where
I started.
You were a wholesale house back then, and you didn't have Bochica. You
didn't have anything. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's when I started.
What'd you do there?
I was in the communications department with the faxing to the farms. I dealt with the sending the information to the farms. Because back then it was the data department where the salespeople would bring the orders and then they would enter in an invoicing and then I would send all the information to the farms.
And then after Southern Rainbow, what happened?
Then after Southern Rainbow, I started working for Edgar Lozano at Flower Fresh.
What'd you do there?
I did sales. I did sales managing, and then I went into supermarkets, and then I quit. And then what did I do?
Why did you quit? How long were you doing sales?
Do you really want to know why I quit?
Yeah, why did you quit?
Okay. So I was the assistant sales manager at Flower Fresh. And when they transferred me over back when we started doing the supermarkets, and my evaluation was up. And Edgar sat me down to talk to me about my evaluation, and that my evaluation had to be based on my new position, not in the years that I had been at Flower Fresh. And I said, really? I go, then don't evaluate. I don't need to work here. And I quit.
Damn, you've always been feisty. Love it.
Was Calancho the warehouse manager at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
It's funny.
It's funny how you come back together.
Yeah. Well,
yes, he was.
And Skylease was Centurion, which was Challenge, which was owned by Peter Ulrich. So it is all, Ricardo's there.
It's a full circle.
I always laugh when we see Edgar because Edgar loves Anna. And he likes me enough because I'm Anna's husband. He's the one guy in the flower business that Anna isn't, Mark Dubner's wife. It is Mark Dubner is Anna Torres's husband. That is who I am to Edgar.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, he's due to come on the podcast soon.
He's coming up. I can't wait to ask him questions.
We're gonna get
awesome.
He's gonna be like, I don't remember. But yeah, and then from there,
you did the cigarettes for a little bit.
No, that's when you fired me.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Wait, I want to hear that.
Hold on. Okay.
Wait,
you fired
you liked her
So,
and married her?
I started working for a company called Florenza, and I hadn't even been there a year, and it was my first Valentine's with them, and he came in and he fired everybody except for Mo Sanchez, me, and Rachel.
Who?
The owner of the place.
Oh, okay.
And right at Valentine's. So right after Valentine's, I left. And right when I left...
I remember that guy, Lorenzo Farr. I remember that.
Okay. Well...
Rachel Kaiser.
Yes. So it was me, Rachel, and Mo. Mo Sanchez. So after that, I started working at Southern Rainbow. Again.
So now, Southern Rainbow shared the building with Esmeralda. They were on the other side of what was the wall, right?
Okay.
So I would see the people there. So of course, a certain Cuban Puerto Rican girl caught my eye. So I'd see her walking back and forth, doing the whatever, and I was a lecherous soul at the time, and I was okay. I was allowed to. So I'm always like, look at her,
And my friend Deanna,
Yeah.
she used to tell me, do you know Mark? And I'm like, no.
Because I would work Deanna
And she
with
was
that.
like, I don't know, do you think I don't date gringos.
So hold on. XL Group had turned into Esmeralda?
We were XL at the time. We were XL at the time. We were just a Peter Ulrich XL, and Southern Rainbow was just renting space.
Gotcha.
So I asked her out, and she agreed to go. And we went on a date to, where did we go? We went to...
We went nowhere.
Yeah, we did. No. In the Grove. Monty's. We went to Monty's. Look at you.
I don't even remember that.
Wow.
Oh.
So anyway, we went on...
blew her mind.
We went on a date, and it was nice. And I don't know, I got nothing.
Was it nice for you, Anna?
I can't remember.
Like she did too.
Well, I think the rest of this story will tell that, and I'm not talking about the two children. So... Then it was really nice. So I went back to work the next morning. I had a nice time. I go, why don't we go out again this weekend? That sounds great. That sounds great. I said, all right, well, I'll get you Friday. Well, call me and we'll set up where, because I go to my friend's house a lot and I'm not always home. And I said, okay. So I went home, and Friday, we were supposed to go out Saturday. So I went home Friday night. I'm calling her, and she doesn't answer the phone.
No.
And she just,
No.
she never.
No.
Well, this is two versions, right? Yeah. So she never answers the phone for me. I go, she stood me up is what happened. And I go, that's crazy. So I go back to work that next Monday and I go, what happened? I'm so sorry. God knows the real story. She might tell that here, might not. No, but I was doing this or that. But well, what about next weekend? Yeah. Next weekend we'll go. Next weekend we'll go. So replay the same story. I call. Doesn't answer the phone.
Typical Miami girl.
And this is before you'd have the caller ID. You know,
you answered the phone.
Yeah, then, she couldn't hide. She couldn't really hide.
So she never answered the phone, and I was, I'm like, this is remarkable. It's one thing.
She didn't have a machine. No machine.
I'm sure I left messages that were not responded to. And I'm like, this is crazy because she's got to see me Monday.
Hey, Anna, it's me, Mark, calling again.
Yeah,
How many voicemails? Did you have 100 voicemails? Hey, just checking to see if your phone
She's
works.
making a face like she's never
Just in
heard
case
one of
your
them.
machine's not working.
I've never heard not one of them, but I like his version that he's talking about right now.
So I go back to the office on Monday, and I'm like, well, what is this? Oh, I'm so sorry. We'll do it. I go, all right. Well, I mean, we can do this again this week, but like if we don't actually go out, that's it. I'm not talking to you again. That's the end of that. And she goes, no, we'll go out. So of course, go to the Friday, and the same thing happened. She stood me up third week in a row.
Oh man!
And I was so angry. I go, there's millions of girls that won't date me in the world. At least at that time there were. Now I don't know that there's so many. But and I'm going but she has to see me. And I know her. Yeah. And I thought we had a good time that first time a month ago at that point. So I show up to work and I never talked to her again at that point. Well, as coincidence would have it, like maybe 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it comes out USA Florals all incorporating. And one of the things that Kelly calls me in the office, Kelly Contafio, right? She's the manager, and she goes, look, this is what's happening. We are going to merge with Southern Rainbow. I go, really? She goes, yeah, so we're going to merge, and we're going to have the Bochica. And I'm like, you would think sales manager Mark would be petrified of having the 8,000 boxes of pom-poms. That'd be the first thought. That wasn't the first thought. And she goes, but what we have to do is we have to decide who we're keeping and who we're letting go. I say, yeah, give me the list.
Anna fired.
I swear to you, this is the God's honest truth. I took the list, found her name, circled it, pushed it across the desk. I said, do whatever else you want.
Circle it meaning keep or circling meaning?
No, she was gone.
She was gone.
She was gone.
Right.
Everyone, I don't care. Whoever these other people are, I don't know them and I don't care. But she's gone. And because Kelly knew the story, right? And she laughs and says, no, really, you got to pick the name. No, I don't really care. So they let her go. And then she was gone and out of life.
Yep.
All right, guys, what'd you think? Are you still laughing? I'm laughing thinking about what you just heard right now. I barely got in any words in this episode because I was laughing the entire time. I was literally crying in laughter, especially when they go into the part where, Mark goes, well, that's one version of the story.
Right. It was hard to pick a clip for that episode because there was a lot of good parts.
There's so many good parts, dude. Hilarious story. Awesome people. Still my number one favorite episode. We've had a lot. We're getting close to our 100th episode, Ryan. Just saying. Triple digits.
Be ready.
We need some sponsors. We need a corporate sponsor here. Just saying. We've got
Who would you want to be a corporate sponsor? You get some freebies from.
Cheech and Chong have a weed brand, or Snoop Dogg, or who else has got? Jay-Z's got a weed brand. Who else? Blue Chew.
Dreaming big.
Is Blue Chew the chewable Viagra's?
Is that what Joel just said?
That's what Joel just said. That's who we need as a corporate sponsor.
I'm pretty sure
Mimi wants. Well, we're drinking, so we need a Scotch sponsor. I'm gonna have to reach out to Glenn Levitt and let them know that we're solely. High Noons are great, but I don't like to admit that I drink them. All right, guys. Our next clip, episode 42, our 1 year anniversary episode where we had a bunch of special guests. I gotta touch on something. I still am shocked at how much I love this podcast. I actually feel like socially responsible to continue. I had a call the other day, not a call, it was a Skype from Belkis at Esprit. And we were talking and I was trying to find something. And then out of nowhere, she thanked me for the podcast. She goes, I just want to thank you and Mike for everything you guys are doing on the podcast. And it's so awesome. And I've learned so much about people that I knew that I never, and heard stories that I had never heard before. And I've learned so much about the industry that, dude, that makes me feel fucking responsible to keep this podcast going and to make sure that we have good guests and that, that we really dive into what we're doing here, because I think this has become bigger than what we ever thought. When we started this, we really just wanted to sit around and talk shit. That was it. So,
right. Agreed. Okay.
So thank you guys so much for all the feedback. We got a couple things to read. We're going to read those on the next episode when I got everybody together. But we want to make sure that you're checking things out. So this is episode number 42. This is our 1-year anniversary. Still amazing. Check it out, guys.
So this is a special episode.
Why?
You tell us why.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is our 1-year anniversary. Podcast 1 year. Mike, can you believe it has been a year?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Man, it's ladies and gentlemen, that really is true. Like, I do not feel that we've been doing this for a year. I really only feel we've been doing it for like 6 months since Mike left to the cabin.
It doesn't feel like a year at all.
At all. Woohoo!
Every time we say a year, we're gonna cheers.
Should have brought the siren in.
The siren's too loud.
He's got the Jamaican horn.
This is the best. The DJ air horn is all you need.
That's all you need in life.
You do realize when you're talking, nobody can hear you but us, right?
But us, yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Because you chime in all the time, but nobody ever hears it.
Where's your microphone?
He doesn't set him up because he doesn't think he's ever going to talk yet. He chimes in every now and again.
He's getting more into it. He is way more into it.
He should have a mic, but for some reason, he doesn't think he needs one.
He's way more into it than the beginning.
If you had a mic, you'd talk more.
Yeah.
It's simple logic.
Exactamente.
Joel's come a long way.
He has.
He's been here a year, too. Surprisingly.
Oh,
he's
look
made
at
it
that.
Yeah. He just got his official Nerf gun.
Ah,
I had him on a
you're
probationary
inducted.
gun. He got
Oh, yeah.
knock on the door there.
Come on in. Hello.
Wait for it.
Hello.
Hold it.
I don't see who it is. I don't see the name.
That's the point. This is all surprise.
Fern gets
Oh,
it.
Nicky P!
Hi, guys.
The Prez is in the house for our 1-year anniversary.
So every time we say,
anniversary to you. Happy
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
What's up, Nicole?
we got to play the
What a
presidential
celebration you're
music.
having.
Yeah,
Yes.
presidential music right now.
What's up, man? How you doing? Look at you joining us. Of course, it wouldn't be a special
Oh,
episode.
she got her.
I like it.
You guys?
Cheers. Cheers to the cup. And the,
Oh,
and the pin.
pin.
And the
Damn,
pin.
I have my hat on. I have my hat on only. I feel
Nobody
like I'm
can see it,
flagging.
but we just got the first official Fatties hats are coming.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout
Right
out to
on.
the Flower Click for making that happen, unfortunately.
Yes.
How's the anniversary pod going?
It's going great. It's going great. We've been reminiscing.
I was gonna ask. Yeah. What's everyone's favorite pod?
Oh, you're just
Episode.
jumping right in. You're
She's
just jumping right in. You're
She's
interviewing
jump-
us.
The Prez knows what's up. All right. So, Michael Black, what was your favorite podcast? And don't say the one that I'm going to say. I'll be very upset. I've been thinking about this all
I don't know. I got a lot of them that I like, but the one that stands out to me the absolute most was Alex Perez.
Yep.
That was a good one.
That's a
That
good
was a
one.
really good episode.
You know, there's a lot of close seconds. And the only reason why I say Alex Perez's podcast was because the stuff that he was saying, like, I believed it so much,
Yeah.
and the way that he is directing his company's culture is like, I said to myself, shit, man, I need to step up my game. This guy is like light years ahead of me, and I thought I was doing pretty good at it. And he really motivated me to do better. And the ideas that come out of his head and the books that he reads and the information. But there's so many. I learned so much.
Discipline.
I learned so much, but that was one that I could listen to like multiple times. I have listened to it multiple times.
Mike, was that the comment one?
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one sold me on you guys.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Even more reason to like
You
it.
see?
Yeah.
I like that one because he convinced you to. It doesn't matter about hours so much for certain people. So from having to be here at 7 to not have to be here.
So
at 7.
because of that episode, I never had to tell Ryan, "Hey, when are you coming back every day?"
Yeah.
Flexible schedule hours is very nice.
Worked out.
I mean, there's no playbook. You learn as you go, but having all these smart people and all these experiences that they've had and sharing it, like, I don't think that's like how we originally thought this was going to go. Like, I didn't think that people were going to open up to us like that and tell us their stories.
People,
it was
intimate.
Yeah,
it's
it was supposed to be.
setting.
It was you guys just like wanting to vent about issues and
Yeah.
stuff. in
We
the
wanted to
industry.
make fun of people. That's really how it started.
Wanted to
We were
bitch and
gonna
moan and
bitch, complain, and make fun of people.
Yeah.
Well, we still do that.
Like this fucking air condition company.
Yeah, by
On
the
a
way,
Friday.
By the way, is on Friday on our anniversary episode 1 year. The AC in the office decided to freeze over, and if you know us people in Miami and Florida, we cannot live without air conditioning. It is frowned upon.
So what makes it worse? What makes it worse is that we have a really good relationship with our refrigeration company, and if I had any problem whatsoever, he'd send an army over here to fix it. But they don't touch ACs. They don't want nothing to do with ACs. They do not. So we have this whole separate company for the AC. Who
they swore they had it fixed.
They're
last
the
time.
landlord's guy, but they really suck. They're really bad. I won't mention your name, but you really suck. You're really bad.
Like the shitty ex-girlfriend we are forced to go back to.
Oh,
worst.
God.
So Nicole's episode is our third most listened to episode.
Of course.
Hello.
Of course it is.
Only
Hello.
behind the pilot episode, which I assume most people just start with one, right?
Yeah.
So like
That's
doesn't-
where we lose
that doesn't
half our
count.
audience.
That doesn't count, right? And then for some reason, the Dutch episode has been a strong one since the beginning. The Mark and Sander episode has been a.
They had a ton of
Wait.
information.
It's been a
Easy Fresh?
Yeah.
Or
Easy
Easy
Flower.
Easy Flower, thank
yeah.
you.
But next gen Nicole President episode is right
What's
there,
up?
number 3.
We need to bump those numbers up.
Those
Sorry
are
about the
rookie.
touch,
Those
guys,
are
but-
rookie numbers. Those are
We're
rookie
working
numbers.
on
We need
it.
to pump that up.
Yeah. Come on, Dutchies.
I like it when we like go to different events and stuff, and people just say, "Hey, man, I listened to your podcast," or that I listened to this one or that one. I think that's cool.
For
I
sure.
think
I
that's
agree.
cool.
I agree. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, yeah.
Hearing about it.
In different countries, they tell us this.
All over.
Not only
Do you
here.
want to see? I have here the latest charts of the countries. Mostly still U.S. is 80% of our listens, but Canada, Netherlands, Australia, Ecuador, Ireland, Mexico, UK, Ghana, Tanzania.
Oh yeah, well,
Fucking Tanzania. Where
yeah.
are they growing flowers?
Carlsbad, California accounts for 3% of our listens. I don't know if that's all
Nicky
you.
P. That's all Nicky.
But you're up there.
Probably.
Miami's up there as our most. Brisbane, Queensland, Quito, Grand Rapids, Michigan, San Diego, Chandler, Arizona,
Michigan is Andy, right?
Dublin,
sure, yeah.
Leinster, Dublin, Indianapolis, and Vegas. Those are our most listened to cities.
Wow.
Who's listening
Vegas.
to us in Vegas?
It's a few people.
Vegas.
It must
Few
be
specific people.
Bruce from Greenfield listening.
Yeah.
In. Hey,
Bruce
Bruce.
is the man. Bruce helped us out.
Bruce helped us out
Big
a lot.
time
Hooked
for
it
the
up.
wedding
I heard.
NBA. He
Perfect
took care of the
delivery,
boys.
not an issue. The first time there was no complaints on our side.
He's got a good
Yeah.
operation. I've been to his place. He's got
Yeah.
he's got a nice business going on over there.
Man,
How
good
was your
stats.
trip in Vegas?
What?
How was your trip, Ryan, in Vegas?
It was good. It went well. The show was cool. It was a fun
Yeah.
show, different crowd. So it's nice to get to like you're used to seeing the same kind of people at every show. So this was nice to get. Pretty much nobody knew us, so it was good to introduce ourselves to a lot of people. Vegas was fun. We got delayed because of the hurricane coming to Florida, so we got to stay out there a few extra days.
What a punishment!
Yeah.
The calendars worked out like
Notice how he's stuttering.
The weekend that we went early, because we went early to enjoy the weekend, and the weekend that we went was like a dead weekend. For some reason, it was off, and there was like nobody performing. There's no concerts. But the following weekend was like everybody was performing everywhere. There was.
Did you go with Casey to see Post Malone?
We were trying to.
You never made it.
It was the same day as our flight, so I would have to gone to an 8:00 concert to then try to make it to a 1 a.m. flight.
Of course, you could have done that.
It was too close. I didn't want to risk it. I was trying at that point. I was 2 days over. I was trying to get back. I was already broke.
Yeah.
Casey, he told me Casey kept winning in the casinos and he kept losing, so it wasn't working out for him.
Yeah, so you're in a casino with somebody and they're winning, right? So you play with them, but then you lose, and then it just doesn't work.
You
out.
keep playing and they keep winning.
Playing,
you keep
right?
losing.
Exactly.
Nicole, anybody that I know that goes to Vegas, I give him $20 and I say the very first thing that
he fucking hit.
The very first thing you do when you walk in the casino is you go to the roulette table and you put $20 in 000. Don't do anything else. Just go right in. And wouldn't you know it?
He fucking did it and hit it. $800 that first hand.
Right.
You started him off. You started Casey off with the good luck, and Ryan was left in the shadows.
What a great feeling, though, that you walk in and you bet you hit the very first one.
Yeah.
But shouldn't I get 400?
I mean,
I should get 400.
At least.
Definitely.
That ain't right. Casey.
He didn't break you off?
No.
I think he left. By the time he left, he was down. By the time he left.
He gambled that away.
Yeah.
He is
foolish.
But anyway,
what a punishment! Extra days in Vegas on the company. Terrible.
Fern, you never said what your favorite episode was.
So my favorite episode is, so I'm gonna pretense this by, we've had some amazing guests on this podcast, and they've shared some really good intimate stories on their upbringings, their companies, and the floral industry, and I've learned a fuck ton. But my favorite episode is with Anna and Mark Dubner. I don't know if I got 3 words in that episode of them bickering and yelling and the story flipping and each one's personal depiction of what happened in those events, but I laughed my ass off the entire time.
I thought you were going to say the one
hilarious.
with my sons. I thought you were going to say that one because
that's in my top.
We're going to
5.
redo that episode.
We're going to
bring that one back.
We're going to redo it, and Mike will talk this time because he stayed quiet for the first 45 minutes. But that episode was hilarious. Hilarious. Those two I couldn't imagine working with those two all day. I'd get nothing done. I'd be in the drama.
Firecrackers.
Yes.
That's one of those ones I wish was on video, because just the looks that they gave each other as one was telling a story, and this guy's telling the story completely wrong, and then she tells the exact same story.
Anna would be shaking her head like, you lying, and then Mark is like tapping her, like ready to stop her at every given second, like not knowing which direction she's gonna go and what she's gonna say. So he's like on panic mode.
Let me tell you, that's no act. That's how those people are like really into each other's thoughts. They know what each other are gonna say.
It's hilarious.
Sure.
They're too funny. But that wasn't that. I
love
my
those
personal
people.
favorite episode. Those guys, personally love them both, and it's just freaking hilarious.
Some of our first, they were like one of our first friends when we moved to Miami.
Were they really?
Yeah. They took us. They took us in.
Mm-hmm.
Good people. Man, Ryan, you guys did a fucking phenomenal job setting up that episode. Nicky came in there, guns blazing. She was ready to go. She jumped right into her favorite episode. You guys didn't get to hear because I think the clip cut off, but my favorite episode was Anna and Mark Dubner. I'm going to repeat that 100 times because I love that episode. But it was amazing, the setup on that. It was awesome to have all the guests there. Nicky P, the Prez, professional, ready to go. Got to get her more on the podcast, I'm telling you. Our next episode is, one of my favorite people, huge mentor to me. This man taught me a lot of things. This man took me from Miami punk kid
Hero to hero.
or Miami, I would say this, I guess this is really raw, guys. You might not understand this, but from a Miami fuckboy into a professional in this industry. Like real deal.
I think you were a broski. That's what.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I don't know. I was one of those guys. I was out every week, every night, every day. I was out partying, and Barry,
So that transitioned you perfectly for the flower industry hours.
It really did. I would leave partying and go sleep in the parking lot, and I would text somebody, "Hey, when you get to the office, wake me up," because I was out partying all the time. That's what it was. Is what you did Sunday to Sunday. But Barry taught me a lot of things and gave me some professionalism to go with my jokes, I guess. But check it out. Barry is going to give you some positive news and some positive things, and he's going to set your mind right. He's going to give you a checkup from the neck up. Check it out.
First, I'm going to give you a mindful exercise just to slow everything down. So let me tell you what the steps are going to be. You're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, a deep breath for a count of 4. You're going to hold it for a count of 7 and let it out through your mouth for a count of 8. Breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose. Hold it for a count of 7 and let it out through your mouth for a count of 8. Breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose. Hold it for a count of 7 and let it out through your mouth for a count of 8. Anytime you feel that you're in a stressful moment or you need to relax, if you do that 3 times, it will slow everything down for you. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, everything. After doing that, I go into my meditation. I start by breathing in, always filling your stomach first, then your chest. So you breathe in, and then you breathe out. And then it would be, I breathe in calm. And on the exhale, I am calm, I am calm, I am calm. Inhale, I breathe in calm. Exhale, I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. Breathe in. Breathe out, saying it to yourself. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, I breathe in calm. Exhale, I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. I breathe in calm. I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, I breathe in calm. Exhale, I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. Breathe in. Breathe out, saying it to yourself. I breathe in calm. I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. If you start with doing that 3 minutes a day, and then you get to the point where you get it up to about 15 or 20 minutes a day, it will change your life.
What'd you guys think about Barry's episode? Please go back. That was episode number 45. You got to go back and listen to them all. Listen to the whole thing. We're going to roll with the positivity and go to Mimi's favorite. Mimi's favorite. This is episode number 70. This is our last clip for the day, guys. Positive Pappy. Check it out.
So I have a 4-year-old son, George, and a 2-year-old daughter, Sylvie. And so I guess my wife, George was like 8 months old when COVID started. And so I had a kid at home. I just laid off all my employees. I didn't know what was going on. And then my mom passed away. And so then we sort of moved forward a couple years. We made it through COVID, and luckily we were able to hire back every employee. We had a couple employees that didn't want to come back. They, one actually went and worked for a competitor, and then another he didn't want to come back. And it turned out we actually ended up getting our full PPP loan forgiven because we had those 2 employees that chose not to come back.
Wow.
It was like So then in 2022, my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer, and he continued working. He worked, like I told somebody yesterday, his spreadsheet that he tracked everything on was literally filled out up until October 17th. And on October 17th is when he fell and broke his elbow. This is of 2022. He fell and broke his elbow. And from that day, he never really made it back. He declined pretty rapidly from there. And he passed on Thanksgiving Day of last year. So, Celine knows, like, I bought some flowers, but that was like the one thing. That was the one thing that my dad like always did. That was like his thing, and I was doing everything else, but he was still buying flowers. And so Celine has been like I've been telling y'all like that. I started to form these relationships with just a few people, and like Jesse over at South Florals, he works for Danny. My dad introduced me to him a long time ago, or a few years ago, and I've had a great relationship with him. Never met him in person, but we talk every now and then. And then Celine and you guys like stepped in and have just made the whole process of taking over buying. Like I can call her and I can talk about roses till she's blue in the face, and then I can call Fern and talk about whatever. And I love that, you have people, you've talked about before that everybody that sells also buys something. And that's so powerful when you got a customer that's in a shitty spot like me that needs help, and you can direct me to whoever I need to talk to get that help. And and my dad also had a lot of really good standing order, like he had his standing orders in place, so that was helpful to me. And I'm surrounded by an incredible team. I've got 24 employees. A lot of experience in the industry. My designers have a lot of experience. I have a salesperson who's been with us for 42 years.
Oh, wow. That's excellent.
Linda. And so I really I wouldn't have been able to make it through all this without all of like the support. And, my wife tells me, she's like, you got to look at like what you've gone through the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You got married, you had a kid.
Two kids.
We got married. We've had 2 kids, lost my mom, lost my dad, and now I'm running a business by myself, and settling in a state, which gets settled like we're signing the paperwork like next week. Thank God, get this off my plate. But, so it's been a crazy few years for me, and but
how do you stay so positive?
My faith, honestly. I mean, I don't know how people go through losing loved ones without faith. I mean, it's been very helpful to me. And there's no reason to be negative about it,
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife, like when we first started dating, she would call me Positive Pappy because I would literally never. I was like always.
That's a T-shirt.
Tuplex
has a new nickname.
T-shirt. And
hey, Positive Pappy, how you doing?
Positive Pappy. And then somebody told me about a TikTok trend Mary from Gravity Free was telling me about a TikTok trend where people have their cats. It's like a Pappy
They do
dance
like a
or
little
something.
drum
And they're
thing with the
like,
cat paws.
their cats are dancing. They like swing their cats. And she was like, we need
So
to
we
get
need
a
an
video.
office cat.
And no, but she was like, we need to get a video of people like holding you up and dancing.
I like that.
But you know, I just choose to be positive. Like whenever you're negative, there's no good that comes from it. Like there is, you know, obviously there's times when you need to have discipline and you need to be frustrated, but like being angry or getting sad about something, like, you know, everything happens for a reason. And there's just, you know, I mean, and I'm sure Katie would say, like, she'll tell you that I overreact when bad things happen. And like our son last week looked me in the eye and poured a cup of water out of the bathtub. And I was like, I beat on the bathtub. I was like, George, what are you doing? And he lost it. But I overreacted. It's just water. No use crying over spilt water, right? But I just stay positive. It's, you know, there's a lot of people that look up to me and a lot of people depend on me. And not only do I have my family, I have 24 employees.
Other families, yeah.
And I have vendors that,
yeah,
like, you know, there's a lot of people that rely on each and every person, you know.
All those unfortunate, terrible things that happened to you have made you stronger.
Absolutely.
Have made you smarter. And have made you appreciate things more. I'm sure about that.
Absolutely. You know, we've been talking, like Jenna's been doing the gratitude talks and like preaching the Barry Gottlieb preaching. And, you know, meditation, it works. Like it's like Arrive Alive. That shit works. Like it, you know, you tell people about it and they're like, it's kind of weird or goofy. But like mindfulness and meditation, I'm super ADHD, so it's hard for me to do it for more than like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you do it? Like, what's your
Well, there's
process?
a lot of like guided now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
just on your phone, there's so many apps now.
I have an app called Balance that I use, and it's like completely guided, and they have like programs that you can work through. But I try to do like a 5 minute just in the morning. If I do it in bed, I'll fall asleep.
You do it in the car?
No, because I like to do it when I can. I like to do it when I can close my eyes and
okay.
like
that makes
sit
sense. Yeah,
with the posture and
that's
all
true.
that. It makes it a little more.
But there's
relaxing.
nothing wrong with positivity. Look, bad shit happens.
Yeah,
shit that we cannot control happens. It fucking happens. And the truth is, most people don't fucking care. And if you sit there and wallow in your misery, you're just gonna be miserable.
I think part of life is to be tested.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the worst things at the moment end up being like some of the greatest things. Like when I got fired from that other flower company, it was like the greatest opportunity. Didn't feel like it at the time. Does now.
No, you know, look, I lost my mother at a young age. But that allowed me to hold on to every lesson that she taught me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And to me, I have lived my life hoping that I made her proud. And that made me a better person. At least I feel that way.
Yeah.
Because you hold on to that.
Yeah. If I had $1 for every time in the last 7 months now that I've said, my dad always said, man, it's like,
it makes a fucking difference, you know? So maybe that was just a trial and error that I was supposed to go through. And hey, I was a bad fucking kid after that. I didn't react well. I didn't handle that well. I didn't handle her death well. I didn't go to my mother's gravesite for 15 years.
Really?
I couldn't face it. And when I did, a wave of emotions hit me and I grew the fuck up. It was amazing to me. To me, it was amazing. And it's just part of, man, you know what? Bad shit happens. Bad shit's going to happen. There's someone in a worse spot than you are and they're still trying to make it out. Bad shit happens. You know what? You're right. Stay positive and realize all the people that count on you and that count on you to be a leader or a helper or a teacher in those moments, because man, it's not always about you. And you know, it's that selfishness that you have. It's beautiful.
I mean, and you even come like talking about people learning from you and stuff. I was literally started this podcast talking about how Nicole and I have all these next gen people that want to meet us. And so they look up, they look up to us, and they look up to us. And I think it's important that we are, setting that positive example for the industry.
And they will expect you to know shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why
they
I'm
will
so glad.
expect you to
I
know.
surrendered my CPA license a few weeks ago because the state of Alabama tried to charge me a $500 late fee. And I was like, my dad died, and I just couldn't find the paperwork. That wasn't really a priority of mine. And they wouldn't waive it. And I was like, screw it. And I surrendered it. And I was like, and she was like, you need to make sure you take CPA off of your name on LinkedIn. And I was like, what the hell is LinkedIn? Like, I haven't looked at LinkedIn in 7 years.
Cameron Pappas is awesome.
And
what
I'm
do you
like,
mean? It
and like the first few SAF events I came to, I had CPA on my name, and people start calling me, asking me account. I'm like, nope. And I took it off. I took CPA off my name. That's the best thing I ever did.
So you were...
People don't think I'm an accountant anymore.
What were your letters? CPA and what else?
AAF.
I guess AAF.
So you were AAF CPA or CPA AAF? How'd you have it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's alphabetical.
Never happened. Do
a lot of
alphabetical.
letters.
AAF CPA.
Yeah.
AIFD, CFD, PFCI.
I think that gives you a leg up in business.
Having a CPA, having that
experience. Yeah.
It definitely does. I tell people all the time, I'm like, I never use my CPA. And I'm
okay,
like, well,
so you called accounting the language of business? Is that what it was? The language of business.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I like that.
That's where I fucked up my business in New York, is because I was not in the numbers. Everything looked good to me.
And my dad taught me, cash is king. I've learned for 7 years that cash is king, and he's like, I don't care what the P&L says. It's all about what cash says.
I still don't completely understand all the numbers. I have to have
There's nothing.
I call
wrong
my
with that.
accountant.
Well, I'm not a CPA anymore, so
2 or 3 times a
like
year.
a renegade, like a rebel.
My accountant's like one of those by the book accountants. Like, there's no bending in any way. This is what it is, and like, there's so many things that I don't understand. I have to call them up. What does this mean? Or like, the bank was just asking me a whole bunch of shit, and I was like, why do I got to give this to them? It's
they got to cover their tail.
Yeah, but because I don't have that education, I don't understand it all. I know how to buy and sell flowers,
right?
But the back office part is hard. That's the hardest part of the job, I think, is trying to understand the numbers and trying to figure out like where you're going.
Yeah. See, and like, to me, that stuff is, it sounds
That's
crazy.
The easy part.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's like, I enjoy doing that.
That's
Not
why,
fun for me. That's my Sunday.
A system like Details, that's why it helps a lot of people out. A lot of event planners don't know the business part. They're artists. They make amazing creations with flowers, but they don't know how to price their stuff out right. They don't know how to properly charge for the work that they're doing. And, software like that, or, new systems, it all helps out. It helps everybody out, because not everybody knows every aspect of business.
It'd be cool to see like the multiverse version of you that's bad at accounting but good at something else to see.
The one that can arrange flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm a unique accountant because I'm a people person.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, accountants are usually
true.
introverted.
Right.
They sit behind a computer. They don't like people. Like, I love
They
you, all
just
the
like the
accountants out
numbers.
there, but like, they don't want to interact with people. And part of what I love about what I do is that I literally get to interact with people every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so that's now we're in 2023, and life is good. Business is good. We had a good Mother's Day.
All right, Mimi, tell us what you thought.
It's not my favorite. I have so many favorites because, hello, Lenny Walker. Hello. But this one was my first real tearjerker, and Cam just kept my perspective changed the way when I listened to Cam talk about this. So I love this episode. Thank you, Cam.
And that's 2 positive episodes back to back. You got Barry Gottlieb, who's uber positive, it's a different outlook. But I didn't know that. I didn't know all of that about Cameron, that he went through all of that and, was still able to stay positive and be a true leader to his team. I mean, that man.
We see that a lot. It's a recurring theme with our guests of them coming over a big hurdle to succeed in this industry.
And surprising us, like, so it's always a surprise,
right?
That was one of the things that I talk about Belkis before. or I would talk about that now. That's one of the things that I would say, that you never know where someone's been. This industry is hard. Like I tell people, you know, like if you're gonna come into the floral industry and think that it's a cakewalk and, you know, walk in the park and easy, sorry, wrong place. You're up against extreme stress, you know, with, you know, product aging out. You're up against sometimes unrealistic expectations. You're taking someone's thoughts and visions and creating art and beauty out of it. And, you know, sometimes, you know, the color's not right, or a shipment's late, or, you know, something that came in bad. You know, there's so many challenges that are out of everybody's hands. This is a hardworking industry, and you hear on this podcast, you get to hear and learn. I actually had someone reach out to me recently, Belkis from Esprit. She reached out to me. I was looking for something, and I texted her. I was, you know, we were talking, and then she sent me a message a little later on LinkedIn. And in LinkedIn, I thought the message was she found what I needed. I got really excited. No, she did not find what I needed, but she took the time to send me a message to thank me, and simply thank me for the podcast, and say, you know, that me and Mike and Ryan, we're all doing a great job. And, you know, she's heard on our podcast so many stories from people that she never got to hear. She knows most of the people that have been on here, but she never got to hear these stories, or, you know, what they went through, or how they made it, and, you know, all the hurdles that they overcame to succeed, because you can't succeed unless you fail.
You guys have given a gift of realness, like the realness of our guests, the realness of you and Mike and Ryan and Joel, what you guys started. It's been like, our industry is challenging, but once you get to understand your job or your purpose, and then you actually meet the people in this industry, that's what motivates you. You want to stay friends. You want to keep going to the trade shows. You want to keep doing like this, because you know that you're helping somebody else on the other side.
Well, you know, Mimi, I'll say this all the time. We don't sell flowers. We sell memories. We sell core memories. You know, we do some amazing things. And, you know, flowers are so self-help. You know, I just came back, right? We were traveling. We've been going all over the place. Everyone's been out everywhere. I was up with Sarah Campbell this week. And on the way back, we stopped in at Caitlin Roderbach, next gener. Awesome person, running an amazing business. She's 4th generation. She's about to hit her centennial. That's fucking huge. And she was telling me over the summer she did something different, because, you know, she was looking to increase business and get things going. And she had a yoga studio hosting hot yoga in her greenhouses. She has potted plant greenhouses. So the place was loaded up with green plants. They were doing hot yoga because it was super hot in the summer, and in a greenhouse, you know, it gets even hotter. They were doing hot yoga. And then she's like, afterwards, people were buying all the plants. Yeah. And you know, those are fucking awesome. You know, people really go all out. And, you know, that's like, I told her, I go, that's amazing. That's like double mental wellness. You know, they're doing the yoga, they're exercising, and then boom, you got plants next. I was like, man, I'm gonna come over here for some therapy. But we've been able to reach a lot of people. We constantly get thank yous. We constantly get people that I never thought would listen say, hey man, good job with the podcast. Keep going. Guys, that's really what keeps us going. So please email us at twofatguys@jefffreshflowers.com. Continue to send us comments, feedbacks. Let's hear about the aliens. Let's talk about everything, because that stuff, that fucking works. It keeps us going. It's motivated. And, you know, I totally feel socially conscious. Wow, can't even talk. Socially conscious to continue this podcast and to make it bigger and better and to keep kicking ass. So I can't thank you guys enough for listening to this episode. I'm going to recap them. You had the first episode, the pilot. Fucking love that episode. Number 17, The Brothers. Number 20, Flower Circus. Number 26, Anna and Mark Dubner. Number 42, our 1-year anniversary. God, wow, how amazing is that? Number 45, my man Barry Gottlieb. And number 70, definitely last but not least, Mr. Positive Pappy. Guys, listen to all these episodes. Check them all out and more. There's a ton of education and nonsense in there. You'll love it. Thank you so much for listening. This has been another episode. Two Fat Guys Talking Flowers, where we're always going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly about flowers. Joel, Ryan, Mimi, Fern,